Hi everyone, it's Jims. How are you? It's so good to see you all today. So today we're going to do a circle time. Here we are. So let's all sing circle time together. Are you ready? Get your hands out. 1, 2, 3. Circle time, circle time. Come on everybody, it's circle time, circle time, circle time. Come on everybody, it's circle time. So today in circle time, we're going to put on our binoculars and have a look outside and see what's happening, because it's still springtime. Yes, it is. Now, I thought we'd make some binoculars. So look, I got 2 empty toilet rolls, or you can get a kitchen roll and get someone to cut a few. And look, we're just going to get some tape, a little bit of tape, and we're just going to stick them together. Or if you don't have tape, maybe if you have a stapler, you get someone to do that for you. Okay, so 1 piece on each end, like this. Okay, so put it on there, and then bring it over to the other one. Push it down. Bring it over to the other one, like that. No. Okay. Just like that. Okay. And then you can decorate it. Now they're stuck together, look. So you can decorate it if you want. So look, I just got some paint here, and I was just going to do some dots on it, maybe. Look, some dots. I got some dots on it. Might put some more on the other side. Or you might decide to colour it with some crayons or some markers. Or you might have some stickers I'd love to put on it. So I'm going to put some blue on it now, look. So I'm going to put some blue on it. Look, some blue. And now, so there's my binoculars that I made. And then what we can do is we'll let them dry, okay? And then we can bring them with us maybe. We might go on a nature walk with our family, and we might use them to try and see if we can find anything up in the trees or anything flying around the gardens. Wouldn't that be fun? So let's get our binoculars out. Whoops, daisies. So let's get our binoculars out and let's look up. Let's see what we can find in the garden today. What's... Oh, look. Oh, can you hear that noise? Listen. Guys, it's making a sound. And it's yellow and black, and it has wings, and it's very, very small. I know what it is. It's a honeybee. A honeybee. Looks like this, look. Now guys, you know that honeybees didn't always look like this. No, they weren't always like this. First, they were a little tiny egg. Yeah. And it was the size of a grain of rice. And the queen bee laid the egg. She did it inside the hive. The hive is the house that the bees live in. That's the name of it. It's called a hive. Yes. And first it was an egg like this. And then next it grew into a larva. Yeah. And then it started changing. And next it was a pupa. And you can see, look here. Look, it's got no wings and no eyes. Can't see, it's blind. But now look at that. The pupa is starting to grow eyes and wings. The wings are starting to grow. Look at that. And then when it's ready, he eats his way out of the beeswax, and look what it is, out of its cell. And it's a honeybee. A honeybee. And you know what? I got a book about a honeybee. Should we have a look really quick? No, here it is. And the author is Louise P. Carroll. Okay? And it's a Kingfisher book. Bzzz. What is that? It's a honeybee. Why does a honeybee buzz? A bee is an insect with wings. Look at that. Its wings buzz when the bee flies. This honeybee is very busy. A female honeybee or a girl honeybee is called a worker bee. Yeah, a worker bee. And the worker bees go out and collect all the nectar and pollen. Okay, so here is a honeybee, a worker, a forager honeybee, and she flies from flower to flower. And she's got a straw on her head, and she sips all the beautiful sweet nectar up. And guess where it goes? Into his stomach, inside there in tummy. And guess what the tummy is called? A honey stomach. A honey tummy. Isn't that funny? Yeah. And guess what? She flies to about between 1,500 different flowers. She does. In one go. Yeah. So she flies from flower to flower to flower to flower. And then when her honey stomach is full, she goes back to the hive, to her home. The hive. And that's where they start to turn the nectar that she sucked up into honey. Yeah. And look, you can see here. You see, this is the flower. And at the very end of it, look at that. That's the sweet, sweet nectar. And look what she's doing. Look. She's using her straw, her bronchus, to suck it up and to store it in her honey stomach. Oh my goodness, guys. Let's see what she's going to do next. Oh. Munch. The bee chews the flower's pollen. Pollen looks like powder. Some pollen sticks to the bees. The bee flies from flower to flower, and some pollen falls off the bee. Seeds are made when flowers share pollen. This honeybee helps new plants to grow, and she doesn't even know it. There she is, look. Because the pollen, which is like yellow powder, look, there it is. It's like yellow powder, and it's after sticking all over her. You see it stuck all over her. And then when she flies from flower to flower, some of it falls off. Yeah. And what happens is new plants can grow. So plants like roses. And what do you think? What else? Like daffodils? Or apple trees? Or lots of different types of food. Yeah, so if we didn't have bees, we'd have no food. Yeah, a lot of our food comes from bees. Yeah, and their pollen going from one flower to the next flower. Oh, the honeybee flies home. Her home is called the beehive. We said that already, didn't we? And look, there's one of the beehives, look. And there's lots of bees in that beehive. Guys, you won't believe how many bees are in a beehive. There can be thousands of bees in a beehive. So you got the girl bees, which are the worker bees. And there's lots of different types of them. But we'll just call the girl bees the worker bees today. And then you have the boy bees, who are the drone bees. And then you got the boss. The boss is called the queen bee. And she's bigger than the other bees. Not too much bigger, but bigger still than the other bees. Yes, and she's the boss inside the beehive. She is. And she lays all the eggs. Look, The bee is still busy. It wiggles. She waggles. The other bees are watching. What is she doing? She's telling the other bees where to find food. And this is called when the bee does a waggle dance. Yeah, a waggle dance to tell the other bees where all the pollen and the nectar is in the flowers. The hive is a busy, busy, busy place. Every bee has got a job. Look at all those bees, guys. Oh my goodness. The queen bee is the head bee. She's in charge. She is the only honeybee that lays eggs. The queen bee is always in the hive. She is the biggest bee. Can you see her? Where do you think she is? Remember I said she was a bit bigger than the other bees? So I think she's this big bee here. Look, that one is bigger than the other bees, isn't it? Yeah, it is. The worker bees take care of the queen. They build rooms for her eggs too. The rooms are made with beeswax. Honeybees make beeswax inside their bodies. Each room has 6 sides. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So look, 1 room, 2 room, 3 room. All these are rooms, look. They also call them cells. Yeah. Other worker bees keep the hive safe. They keep out bees and other animals that do not belong in there. So look at him. What's he trying to do? He's trying to find honey because bears love honey. Look, and those bees outside trying to protect it. They will sting if they have to, but they don't want to, no. Some worker bees go to get nectar. They bring it back for others to eat. Now guys, I'm going to try and explain to you how they make honey, okay? So what happens is they use their straw, okay? And they suck up all the lovely nectar, okay? They drink it and they put it in their honey stomach. Good job. And they then bring it back and the older forager worker bee, she gives it to a younger house bee. No, that's another type of worker bee. And she gives it to her. And guess what she does? She puts it directly into her, okay? So she regurgitates it. So that's like the owl that we learned about. So she goes, and it comes back up and it goes directly into the house bee. And then that house bee uses something inside it to break down all the sugars. And then it gives it to the next bee. And the next house bee does the same thing inside. And then regurgitates it back out again and gives it to the other bee. And then that bee puts it inside and breaks it down and tries to break down all the sugars and then gives it to the next bee. And that keeps happening until pretty much all the water is after evaporating, which means that it's after coming away. And you're left with like a sweet, sticky thing, okay? And that's called honey. And then that honey is put into a cell inside the beeswax, okay? And guess what? There's some busy bees inside there, and guess what they do? They flap their wings really fast. And that, what they're doing is they're trying to make some of the water evaporate, yeah? And then it's very hot inside the beehive as well. So it's between 93 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So that also makes some of the water evaporate, which means that it kind of goes away, okay? Kind of disappears, okay? And then what's left is honey. So they put it all into one of the cells. So into one of, remember the cells I showed you back here? Look, they put them all into one of those, okay? And then they close, when it's full, they close with honey, they close it up with beeswax, something that they make in their body. They can just put it over the front. Yeah. And they fill it all up to make a honeycomb. Yeah, that's what they do. So they pass the nectar from inside their body into another bee, and then that bee goes, regurgitates it out and gives it to the next bee, and the next bee, the next bee, the next bee, the next bee, and they break it down with their enzymes to make honey. Yeah, that's what they do. But they also need to get rid of the water, so they flap their wings really fast to get rid of the water, and it's also very hot all the time inside the hive. because that also makes the water evaporate as well. So that's how they make honey. Yeah, how cool is that? Who likes honey? I like honey. I do. I like honey in my oats. I do. I know some people like honey on their pancakes. Yeah, some people like that. Do you like honey in your pancakes? You do? So, there's some other things that are also made from honey. Can you guess, are from nectar? Can you guess what it is? You want to see? So we spoke about the honey. Oh, some people like it on their toast. I've never had it on my toast, but some people like it on their toast. And look, this person here is squeezing the honey. She's having it on some waffles. Yeah. But guess what else we use beeswax for? Look, we use it to make crayons. Crayons, yeah. So the next time you're colouring, you can look at that and say, oh my goodness, that came from beeswax. And then here we have candles, and candles come from beeswax as well. They do, yeah. And that's it. So the bees take the nectar, they suck it up, and they put it in their honey tummy, and or stomach, and they fly it back. Well, they fill up their honey stomach first, and it takes 50 to 100 flowers to fill up that tummy, and they fly it all the way back to the hive, and then they start passing it back and forth to each other to break it down into honey. Yeah. So what I thought we would do is, I thought we would do something really fun, and I thought we could make a pet honeybee. What do you think? Would that be fun? Now you gotta go outside your garden, or maybe when you're going on your nature walk, you could get a little stone. Look, that's the size of the stone I have, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to paint it, make a pet bee rock. So we're going to paint it yellow, okay? So we need some yellow paint. So I have yellow paint here, and I'm going to put some on the rock, and I'm just going to start painting it. Look, we're going to paint it yellow, cover the whole thing in yellow, okay? And you could do this as well, okay? There we go, whole thing in yellow. And you have to let it dry, okay? Now your yellow might be way brighter than mine, okay? So I'd have to paint that again to make it really bright, okay? So earlier on, I was sitting here and I was saying, oh, I better make one so that I don't have to wait for it to dry. So then, when it's dry, what you need to do next is you need to get a black marker, or you could get some black paint. Look, some black paint. And you could paint lines in it. You need to paint lines in it. So I'm using a marker, but you could also paint lines. And I'm just making stripes going across like this. Just like this. You got to leave some yellow in between, okay? So you got to have yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, okay? And then the next thing you got to do is give him eyes. So we're going to give him white eyes. So you got to get some white paint and just give him some dots. Look, some white dots for his eyes. Now, you got to set that aside and let it dry, okay? So we're going to let that dry here, okay? And when that's drying, I thought we could make a beehive. So look, here's a plant pot that I got in the garden. Now, not everyone has plant pots. So what you could get is a yoga curtain, and you could use that. Just take the wrapper off and we'll give it a wash, okay? And you could use that if you wanted. Or you could use a tub. Look, you could use a tub like this maybe. Okay, you could use something like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to paint it yellow. Okay, so you're going to get your paint again, and you're going to go up and down, 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 and paint it all yellow. Okay, this is going to be our hive. Okay, now what I did was I want to fly my pet bee rock in and out of my hive. So I got a scissors. Now this is a sharp scissors, so you need a grown up to help you, okay? And I just cut around to make a hole so that my pet bee rock could fly in and out of the home, and I could play with them when they dry, okay? So you got to paint it all yellow, make it really bright, and then you might decide you might want to draw some lines on it to make it more realistic. Or I saw somebody had put glue around and then put some yarn or some rope or wool around in circles going up through it. That would be cool as well. If you wanted, you could put a string through it and hang it. You could do that in your garden as well, okay, for some decoration. Or you don't have to. You can just play with it like this at home with your pet rock, and that could be his home. So when you go to bed, you could pop your honeybee into his home, into his bed, so he could sleep. Because honeybees sleep as well. They do between 5 and 8 hours a day. Yeah, so you could pop him in there. You have to go to sleep. Wouldn't that be fun? So yeah, let's just paint it all up yellow, make it nice and bright, okay? This one now is drying, so we need another coat. So when this is dry, I'll paint the yellow again, the whole thing again, and then let it dry. Okay, and how you know it's dry is you touch it, and if paint comes off and you have paint on your finger, that means it's still wet. Okay, but if you touch it like this and no paint comes on your finger, then it's dry, so it's ready to use, okay? Okay, and now the last thing we're going to do today is we are going to sing a funny, silly song, okay? So this is called My Baby Honey Bee, okay? So you got to get your hands out, okay? And you got to pretend you're a honeybee, so you got to buzz. And you got to catch a bee. I'm bringing home my baby honeybee. Won't my mama be so proud of me? I'm bringing home my baby honeybee. Ouch! It stung me. I'm squishing up my baby honeybee. Won't my mama be so proud of me? I'm squishing up my baby honeybee. That's yucky. I'm wiping up my baby honeybee. Won't my mama be so proud of me? I'm wiping up my baby honeybee. Look, Mummy, I'm all clean. Is that a silly song? That's a silly song, isn't it? Now, guys, I heard somebody say I'm afraid of bees, okay? And that's okay. But guess what? Honeybees are so busy. They have to make honey, okay? So they're not interested in stinging you. No, they're interested in finding flowers. Flowers that they can fly off and land on the flowers and collect their nectar. Yeah, and fill up that honey tummy so they can bring it back to their hive, to their home, to make that turn the nectar into honey. So they're very, very busy. So they don't have time to chase you around and to sting you. No. Okay? So don't be thinking that the bees are out to find you and to sting you. No, they don't like to sting people. It hurts them. Yeah, it hurts them. Because when they sting something, then their tail, the stinger falls off, and so does some of their body, and then they die, so they don't want to sting you. Okay? So they are just looking for flowers, okay, and looking for nectar, okay? And guys, I need you to do an important job for me. Will you do it? It's very important. You need to tell other people that we need bees. They are so important. Because if there was no bees, what would we do? We'd have no food. No. We need bees to pick up the pollen. Remember the yellow thing that looks like dust? Remember? The yellow thing that looks like dust? We need them to pick it up and to move it from one flower to another. Look at it all over him. He's also got a pollen basket on his legs, okay? And we need them to fly it and to drop it off, and for seeds to be made, and then for food and plants and flowers to grow. So if we had no bees and we killed them all, if you see people killing them, say stop. It's an emergency. They're so important. If we have no bees, we have no food, okay? Okay, and we have no flowers, okay? And that's very important, and I need you guys to do that for me. Could you do that? I think you could. I think you'd be brilliant at it. So tell people, no, they don't want to sting you. They're very busy. They're called worker bees. They're very, very busy. They have to go get the nectar and turn it into honey. They don't want to be stinging people. They're not interested in stinging you. They're busy honeybees. Okay? So make sure you do that, okay? And don't let anybody kill them. So you won't. You're brilliant, here. So let's sing the Serpentine song one last time, and then I'm going to say goodbye, and you can go off on your adventures. You can make don't forget to make your binoculars, okay? And don't forget to make your hive, and don't forget to make your honeybee. So when the white eyes dry, I'll just give it a dot of black paint then so he can see. Okay? So let's sing the circle time song and I'll see you soon, okay? And don't forget to mind the bees, okay? I'm depending on you. Circle time, circle time. Come on everybody, it's circle time, circle time, circle time. Come on everybody, it's circle time. Bye everyone, mind yourself, take care. Mwah!